Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? Happy Wednesday, March 1st. Happy Women's History Month. Today we are talking about the color of the month for March. I am your host, Toy Sweeney, host of the Well Dressed Brand TV show. We are live on all the platforms today because it's the first of the month. And so we have to talk about the color of the month. So for those of you who have gotten your color of the month emails already this morning, you've already sent me emails back. I got this one email this morning about the color of the month, and her name was Karen, coincidentally. I was saying that because I'm looking at a Karen on Instagram. Hi, Karen. Good morning. Or is it afternoon? Goodness gracious. Good morning. Or hello. Good afternoon. I got to get it together. So she sent me an email that said that she was so excited to receive the color of the month email newsletter today as we were talking about the color black, because she had a function to go to, and she had just found the best little black dress, and she was so excited knowing what this color evokes to be able to wear her little black dress, which was very exciting. That makes me feel good, because we're all learning so much more about these colors than we could have possibly known otherwise. Did you know that people are 6 times more likely to remember the color that you're wearing prior to any other color? Now, why are we talking about black as the color of the month for March, right? Well, it should have been green, right? Maybe for St. Patty's Day. No. Spring is coming, and so why would we not lean into another bright color, like kicking off the year with pink? That was an option, right? To go in the direction of another black color. Well, when I was thinking about, especially because black is really the absence of color, and we're talking about the color as the color of the month, and just as red is the most controversial color, black is the most misunderstood color. So March seemed like a perfect time to be able to talk about this color, because depending on where you live, it's still a little cold outside, definitely here in upstate New York. And spring, especially summer, seems so far away, and the weather is changing so much here. You definitely have to dress in layers. You can't really just go out in short sleeves. But just a few weeks ago, was it a week or two, or was it last week? It was 70 degrees. And then now we're back into 34 degrees. Saturday was 27 degrees, the low of 15. It's freezing. And so bright colors are doing their trick, but with helping our mood and all of those things. And I was having this, one of the other reasons that I thought to do black was because, it's a basic color, right? It's a standard in most people's closets. Unless you're Leah Valencia Key, who wears yellow all the time. And I don't think there's any black in her closet. And I love that she wears her brand color head to toe. And sometimes she'll mix it in with other colors. But she's not one that's going to be on the train raising her hand, signing up to wear all black anytime soon, which is that's okay too. And so, but I love that. And so I was having this conversation with my 13-year-old son, and he was going through his closet. He wanted to do it on his own. And he's like, I'm going to get rid of all of these t-shirts. And he was getting rid of every basic t-shirt in his closet, and he was only keeping the one, like a graphic tee that had something on it, some that meant something to him, some of his favorite bands, some of his favorite artists, favorite movies of his, and things like that. And I had to have the conversation. Of course, that makes sense. It doesn't make sense if you are a little bit older, because you probably know these things, but guess what? You may not. So let's talk about some basics. And so I was having this conversation with him about how you need to make sure that you have some basic items in your closet. It's great to want these trend right items. Of course, it's more important to be relevant than trendy. You should always seek relevance over trend. But black is just a great basic item that you want to make sure that you have in your closet. And if you're saying like, hey, okay, I'm not going to wear black, But then I bet you probably have ivory or navy or something like that. You need these kind of anchoring colors that would help you to pull your looks together. My closet is there's a ton of black. And so I'm feeling very confident this month because I am one of those that will always be in head to toe black all the time. I love it. But I mix it in with pops of red because, again, we're getting dressed from the meaning of color and what we're trying to say to the world. And so it's very important to know what the meaning is. And so I thought that was very interesting, and that he was like, I don't need this basic black t-shirt. I don't need Actually, he didn't have a basic black one. He kept those. Ironically, it was gray and like a mint green or something that were just basic colors. Because he loves to wear colors, and so that was not happening. The other reason that black was very exciting to me for this month is because as I was looking through all of the fashion shows for spring and summer, I noticed that a lot of designers were starting their shows with black. And so, for those of you who know about fashion and fashion shows and you've worked in that end, then you know that when you're doing a fashion show, you want to start your show and in your show with the most important looks, right? So what's the most important? So when I was looking at the Versace show, and if you receive your color of the month email, I included the Versace fashion show in the newsletter for you to watch so that you could see what I'm talking about. And oh my goodness, they started the show with their strongest models, their strongest looks. And it was all of these very black, very sleek, looks that had cutouts, and it was these great handbags and shoes and metallics. And oh my gosh, it was gorgeous. And today, I was watching the Ferragamo show this morning, and they're starting their show out with black and navy. And so in the midst of all these like dopamine colors, there is still a need for some basics, but specifically black is starting to feel new. Now, there's plenty of color throughout the shows. We're still doing the pinks and the yellows and greens and all of these other colors that were, if you got the newsletter for January, I put the Pantone colors for the year in there. And so, we are working our way through that list, and black was on the list. And so I thought that was very interesting for this month. I thought it was something that was very different. In fact, I got a text this morning that was like, I'm so excited that you're doing black for the color of March. It's so different. And so, I'm all about that and all about being different. Have you noticed the way that I have, the way the last couple of years, black is starting to make not a comeback, I would say, but really starting to show itself in interior designs as well. And so, black, a couple of years ago, when did we move to Texas? It was maybe now 4 years ago, because it was right before we moved to Texas. I remember we were remodeling our kitchen in our PA house, and the contractor, and I wanted black cabinets and gold hardware, which sounds normal now because it's not something that's that unique, 4 or 5 years later. But at the time, the contractor was really fighting me on giving me black cabinets. And I remember him saying to me, I have been doing kitchens, for 30 years, and never in all of my career has anyone ever wanted a black kitchen. And has anybody ever wanted a black cabinet? They didn't want black cabinets. They didn't want to do all of these things. And I was like, well, this is what I want. And so I remember stopping in and, to see the progress on the kitchen, and the cabinets were up, the hardware was on, there was dark hardwood floors and, white countertops. And then I had butcher block kind of custom shelves where my white dishes were exposed, and so I still very much love those colors. And so I remember going into the kitchen, and he said, I owe you an apology. And I said, why? And he said, because this looks really, really good. And that was 4 or 5 years ago. And so now it's not uncommon to have, black statement walls, black cabinets. As we're still moving into other colors, green was a big color that I incorporated into my house last year. But the majority of my house is still black and ivory with a lot of wood tones and pops of green and things like that. And so, let me know if this is something that you're kind of feeling on the back end too. Even if your favorite color is not black, is that something that you find yourself incorporating? I also got a text this morning that was like, I love that you're doing black. It's my favorite color. I wear it all the time. Keisha was saying that on Instagram this morning when I announced what the color of the month was via an image. And so I thought that was really great. And also, you know, black for me is, it means so many different things, but there is also, I was thinking about this morning and getting really nostalgic about the first time that I did a keynote a few years back. Yes, black interior doors look very gorgeous. I love a black exterior door too. I'm very excited about getting a new front door. We've only been in our house 8 months, and so I'm very excited about continue to changing out fixtures and doing statement walls, and I definitely want a black front door for sure. So, I was thinking about this morning when I did my first keynote, which feels like forever ago, but it was at Arizona State University, and the theme was the Sun Devil wears Prada, and I was so excited. And as I look back at the pictures, I was wearing a I can't remember, All Saints. That's what I was like, I can't think of the brand. It was an All Saints black turtleneck knit dress that was a mini dress, and I wore it with thigh-high suede boots, and I did like a cluster of brooches, on my shoulder, and metallic nails, and I had the time of my life. And I was just thinking about these different parts of my life, like the black kitchen and this outfit that just really has become such anchors for who I am. And of course, it's my brand colors, which is red, black, and white. And so I try to incorporate them. I try to wear them. And so those colors mean a lot to me. So anyway, that was kind of my reason. So let's talk about the color black a little bit. So black invokes elegance and authority. It's the color of confidence, if you can believe that, because it is. It is about strength, authority. Did we talk about that? It makes you feel protected, and it has this sense of like chicness to it. It's the color of fashion, and I talk more about that in the newsletter today. That if you've received that in your email, we talked about this time of Leonardo da Vinci, and at that same time, at the height of his career, was around the same time when black became a big color in fashion. And so I'm watching this series on Netflix right now. Oh Lord, I'm gonna get it wrong. What is it? Lydia is no, it's an L name. The last name's Poet. Is it Leah or Lydia? I think it's like Leah or Lydia Poet. Anyway, I've only made it as far as season 5, and I meant to do this today. Darn it! To cross-reference the time frame in which this took, because they have her in, and this is the time before women you couldn't. I don't think that you could vote yet. I think that it was because she was a lawyer, and it was like a big deal that she's gone to law school, and she's like the only woman in every room, and they're hitting her with all of in time for Women's History Month for March, right? This is a great series for you to start watching. And it's a lot of, her being told what she can and cannot do because she's a woman, and how they feel that she's being disrespectful to the bar. But anyway, so from a wardrobe perspective, again, that helps you to tell a story. It helps you to tell your story. So it's so important when you are doing keynotes and meeting a client for the first time. And this is why they do it in movies. This is why there's a wardrobe department to help to drive the story home. And they have her in these gorgeous black dresses. And so she's wearing some very interesting brooches, that I'm sure are indicative of that time frame. And, of course, her hats. And I even noticed that she was wearing like velvet, and it has pockets, like it's gorgeous. And so think about checking out that series, even if you just if you're like, I don't like this kind of stuff. It's like murder suspense almost. But you can fast forward just to kind of see her looks because it's worth it. So that made me think about that. And so those are just kind of some of the things that, the positive things that black invokes, and it makes sense that it's the color of art and the color of fashion. And so maybe that's why I like it so much. I was even trying to think about when did I start wearing black so much, but I remember one of my favorite outfits from high school. I grew up as an 80s, 90s kid, and so I grew up kind of in this like time of hip hop, but also punk rock music. And so I remember when we moved from New Jersey, the show is called, I'm using my phone, so I can't look it up for you. I'm just having a conversation on Instagram. It's Lydia Poet or Leah Poet. And it's a new release. It just came out. So if you go into Netflix, it's in their top, like, this is just what was released. And it is not a family show, so I will tell you that it's a little bit more for a mature audience. There's kind of two scenes that if you have teenagers or younger, that you probably don't want them watching it for the sexual content. But so far I'm in the 5th season and it's only been 2 scenes. The rest of them are really clean. But if you care about language, then it probably is not. It's definitely not a family show. And so it's like Leah or Lydia Poet or something like that. I'll post it after I'm done with the live. And so then you'll have it for sure. So where was I talking about? So, so those are kind of the positive things. We're going to get back to some positive things. But of course, like any color, black has a lot of negative connotations. But I have one more little fashion point that I wanted to make. There was a quote that's from this book called The Book of the Courtier, that was published in 1528. And so I apologize that I didn't look up what year this show is supposed to take place. But the quote from Baldassare Castiglione, I'm probably pronouncing his name incorrectly, I apologize. But the quote was, "Black is more pleasing in clothing than any other color." Love it. And so that's not to denote, again, the dopamine, the bright colors that are certainly out there, but black is still out there too. And again, the resurgence on the runway just made me excited. And so again, when you're talking about elegance and authority and sophistication and confidence and strength, it has this prestigious, mysterious appeal to it that has a strong impact on emotions. It gives you this sense of superiority, not in a negative way, but it's the sense of superiority that is associated with very, very expensive products. So when you think about brands like Chanel, that have black in them, and I think probably a good portion of luxury brands have black in their logos. Or is a part of a major color scheme for them. That's why we have things like Black Label and things like that, right? So I was really just excited about that. And I remember a friend telling me a couple summers ago, why are you wearing so much black this summer? Gosh, aren't you hot? And I'm really not. I wasn't. And I'm like, of course she goes, you can't wear all black in the summer. Where do we get these rules from? Of course you can. And of course I do. And I will continue to do so. I mean, it is not uncommon, again, to see me in a black short romper, black cutoff shorts in the summer, and, black sandals, black crossbody, or whatever, red lip, red nails, red pedicure. Like this today is my normal everyday look. And if you're looking for something, adding this to your wardrobe, or you have it in your wardrobe and you have it in very basic colors, I'm proposing to you today that maybe you start to do it in a different way. So I'm not talking about your basic black blazer. I'm not talking about your basic black tank top and things like that. But maybe purchase those basic items with a twist. This is a basic black t-shirt that I'm wearing, that has, a different fabrication on the sleeves. It's, it's cotton. It's very comfortable. It's a cotton stretch. But instead of a basic black t-shirt, I wanted to have something that had a little bit of a twist. It adds a little bit of sophistication, a little bit of femininity. And this was just something I literally picked up from Target this morning. That was where I got it from, because I had completely planned on wearing something else, and I was like, this is what I feel more comfortable in. This feels right, because it's a basic black tee for $20 that just has a little bit of a puff sleeve. I can throw this on with leather pants, leather shorts. As we're going into spring, I can certainly wear this with a pencil skirt to work if I wanted to, or a little cropped I was trying to think of a fabrication that just popped in my head, but then it popped right back out. Ponte knit. You have maybe like a black ponte knit ankle pant. Throw it on with your favorite strappy sandal or pump, or something like that. So it doesn't have to be anything that is too basic to the point where it's boring. Look for items that have texture. Look for ruffles and lace and feathers, and leather, different things like that, because I personally think that the best way to wear black is to do it where it has a little bit of texture. And so some ways that I will add it, that I would add texture to my outfit if I'm wearing all black, is I would just add, I have like some textured vest back here, like faux fur or fur vest that I'll throw on over my basic tee or a basic black tunic, and mix it in again with some other pops of color or fabrications, so that if you're someone that's like, black is boring, it's basic, I don't want to do it, when you start to add some textures and different fabrications, you can do that. What detergent do I use to keep my black clothes black? That's a good question. I don't wash them in anything, I have to tell you, specific. I think that the drying is the part of it that kind of seems to shrink them or make them light, but most things are pre-shrunk today. I think you have to know your brands as well. But I just wash them regularly, but I will, unless it's something that I know the fabrication won't fade, like a rayon or something like that, that fabrication is typically not going to skew lighter when you wash them. Then I will hang it dry. But there are different detergents that I've seen for sure at the stores that are specifically for black clothes. But I haven't tried them, so I can't put my stamp of approval on them. But definitely, if you try them, let me know. But I just wash them regularly, and then I hang them up to dry. If it's something like a sweatshirt that I'm just kicking around in, then I just wash it. But I haven't really had anything fade in a really long time. In high school, I used to just take a weekend and I would dump black dye into the washing machine and dye all my black clothes. My mom was not happy about that at all. And so, as we're talking about the color black today, black means different things in different cultures, right? So in the Western culture, black can mean mourning or sadness or passing. I remember one day I was at a store and I had put a bunch of black clothing on the counter, and the girl behind the counter said, "Oh no, are you going to a funeral?" And I was like, "Oh no, honey, this is just what I wear every day." And so in ancient Egypt, black signifies life and rebirth. How exciting is that? In China, black represents immortality, instability, and power. And so I love that. Also, one of the most exciting things about the color black for me, and not that this is what I'm about to talk about, it's not necessarily a color, but it's just more of culture and a movement. So in 1960 and through the 1970s, the birth of Black is Beautiful, this movement was born. The emergence of black culture and black identity. The phrase Black is Beautiful referred to a broad embrace of black culture, and the identity of it. So Um, sorry, I just had a note that told me that was like, look over here. And I'm like, that's not where that is. So let me get to where I need to be with this because I want to make sure I explain it properly. So I'm going to go back a little bit. So we were talking about 1960s and 70s, the emergence of Black culture and Black identity began. The phrase Black is beautiful referred to a broad embrace of Black culture and identity. It called for an appreciation of Black past as a worthy legacy, as a worthy legacy and inspired cultural pride. And contemporary Black achievements. Its philosophy, Black is beautiful, also focused, and I love this part, also focused on emotional and physiologically the well-being of the movement that affirm natural hairstyles and the variety of skin colors and textures and physical characters that is found in the African American community. And so I still remember, I love looking back at pictures of my mom from the 70s, and her hair was exactly like this. It was natural. She didn't have the little sponge that, I use today, but it was not uncommon. Like my mom never had a big, fro, but she was really young in the 70s. She's not necessarily a teen mom, but she was definitely a young mom. She's a young, hot mom. And so I love looking at pictures of her because I look so much like her. And I love the pictures of her specifically when her hair was like this. And so that gets me very, very excited. But yeah, and so those are just some wonderful, wonderful things that we can kind of learn and talk about. If you, I love that, right? Instagram is on fire today. I love it. And so, I love that aspect of it too. We talked about some different ways that you can wear Black. I love the mysterious part of Black. And I know that some people still kind of view it as something that's negative or a rule in your head that you can't make it look anything past basic. But I'm telling you, if you got the newsletter, there are so many different things on there. Make sure that you click on the link to my Pinterest board that's in there. Make sure that you watch the fashion shows that are in there. And I will tell you, you will be so excited again about wearing this color. And I think it's a great transitional color again as we're going into spring. And one of my big pet peeves, I haven't been asked this in a long time, but usually on a podcast they're like, what's your fashion pet peeve? And I remember I did an Instagram post about this years ago, but I will say it to you today. Black shoes do not go with everything. So please stop doing that. It can make an outfit look really heavy. So if you're wearing a bright green dress or a bright, whatever color dress, and then you're just like, I'll just wear black shoes because black goes with everything. That's not true. It can make the dress look very heavy. So if you have not found the perfect nude shoe, meaning that it is the same color as your skin, and I remember a couple weeks ago, Nana Badu did a awesome Instagram live where she was talking about specifically for Black women, how, these different websites for you to find the perfect nude shoe, because it can be a little bit more challenging for us. And so, so that's the purpose of a nude shoe, is to elongate your legs. And so it kind of is supposed to fade into the background. So do not do a black shoe if you are choosing to lean into this dopamine moment of the bright colors, or if that's who you are as a brand, you've probably already figured that out. So you want to make sure that you either wear a shoe that's going to coordinate. You can do a color clash, like a bright green and a bright yellow, or, navy is always, is the color that's closest to black on the color spectrum. So you can certainly do that if you want to. I love throwing in a metallic shoe. When you wear just like, I love a good pink dress with a gold shoe, because pink is a cooler color. So is black. Black is considered a cool color. And so it looks good with cooler metallics like silver or a white metal or something like that. I like to do the cool colors with warm metallics. I just like that look. So it's, again, not uncommon to see me wearing black and gold. Um, you never thought to get about a nude to match your skin tone. Oh, absolutely. You want to definitely search for that, because that's the whole purpose of a nude shoe. I remember when I was working in corporate America and I was working on a photo shoot for those of you who are familiar with QVC, there's a gorgeous program host by the name of Jane Brown, who is her melanated skin is so rich and beautiful. And I was working on a shoot with her, and the office that I worked in, not the styling office, but I'd moved on to more of the image office, I would say. And it was not like a very diverse team. Like I was the only black girl within that office, and I was working on this photo shoot for Jane Brown. And I remember this person who was my boss at the time was like, and I was like, oh, I'm trying to figure out this shoe for Jane. And I remember her saying, oh, just do a nude shoe. And I said, well, if I do a nude, what you are considering a nude shoe, this is me now adding taupe to this color palette. And taupe doesn't make sense because your nude is not her nude, as a black woman. Like, that's not, your nude's not my nude. And so I'm now adding tan or taupe or blush pink into my color palette of, I'm just going to call it like, navy and orange, and now I'm adding peach or taupe, and that doesn't make sense. And so a nude shoe would have made sense, but that wasn't an option. So I wanted to introduce another color that was going to coordinate with that made sense. And so hopefully that's helpful to you, but I had that written down, like, please do not wear black shoes with everything. They do not work. And so, yeah, hopefully this was, as exciting for you all today as it was for me. I was talking to Meg Delafont, the exceptional artist that helps me to put together the layout for the newsletter. And I don't know about you, but every time I'm signed up for my own newsletter so that I get to see what you guys see when you get the newsletter. And it came in my inbox like 6 a.m. this morning, and I was like, this is so beautiful. And so her and I were talking about it this morning, and she said, I am so enjoying being on this ride with you because I'm learning so much just by reading all of this. And so if you have yet to sign up for the Color of the Month newsletter, this is your gentle reminder to do so. You can log on and go on over to toysweeney.com, put in your email information, and you will get the color. It's the first of the month, so you've not missed a thing. So go ahead and sign up today so that you can get the newsletter. I do not, bog your email down with a bunch of things. Right now, you're getting one email a month from me. That's it, just with the color of the month. And within that, I'm highlighting other female entrepreneurs. It's Women's History Month. Of course, we're doing that. And also, there is a link to my Amazon Live for my favorite Amazon products that I found in black. There's beauty products and skincare products in there as well. What else is in there? The newsletter is packed with so many options for you to do that. But we're just on this color ride for those of you who are new to this kind of thing, because wardrobe is a business strategy, and the psychology of color and knowing what these color means will help you to formulate a better strategy as you move through the world. If you're someone that is more concerned about, not more concerned, but also concerned about your mental health and your mood, and so color helps with that as well. Choosing the right colors can incite something very powerful in you. It can make you more productive, more creative. I list all of these studies in my book where we talk about that it's really the meaning that you are giving these, that you're giving the specific clothing, but the color, just looking at a color, just looking at a very specific item of clothing can really incite something very powerful within you. And so when I started to understand this and research this, my brand colors became so important to me. I've had these red, black, and white brand colors since college because I've always been obsessed with Chanel, her as a designer, like a person. And in some circles, she was not so nice. I think I was reading in one of her biographies Well, a lot of interesting things, but I think that she was refused to speak English or something. But I love the Valentino. I love the Valentino red. I was very much inspired. If you were around during my Her Majesty the Queen days when I used to design couture level evening wear and bridal gowns. It was not uncommon for me to have, to be inspired. And so I would use burgundy instead of red, as just my little gentle nod to Valentino. Of course, there was gorgeous black gowns. I did, a bunch of different colors, but those two colors were just staples because of that was what I was highly influenced by when I was in fashion school. And so as my brand has grown up and switched names, we went from Her Majesty the Queen to the Well Dressed brand, then, the colors still remain because they still very much fit who I am. And so these are the kind of things that I'm trying to get you to see and to understand that your wardrobe is a literal business strategy, and because you can sway thinking, and especially if you're in sales, because we are all visual learners, and it hits you in the heart and in the head, and those colors may mean something to somebody else. And so I hope that you found this to be exciting and fun, like I did and like I have. Every month I am just I'm enamored by what I'm learning about these colors. For as long as I've been in the fashion industry, I'm still learning so many different things. So anyway, I hope that we get to continue down this path together. Well, we should, right? I will see you next Tuesday. That's just for Instagram, because I go live every Tuesday, 1 o'clock, only on Instagram, where we take a deeper dive into this color. And so I will see you guys next week. So thank you for being so attentive. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. So I'm going to end that live. Okay, and so for those of you, again, who are watching on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, make sure that if you found this to be insightful, make sure that you like and share it. Make sure you comment below. Are you someone who wears black all the time? Are you someone who, are leaning into more of the bright colors right now, which is okay, because you can do your monochromatic black and then pop your color on top if you want to, if you're someone that's just easing into colors. So thank you guys so much for being so attentive. I hope that you, again, enjoyed this as much as I do. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to get up every day and do something that I love and talk about things that I love. I'll talk to you guys soon. Friday, we were live back here with my guest, Andrea Weinberg. We are having some very powerful conversations. And so I will see you back here on Friday. I think we're at 12 o'clock, but I will definitely post about it so that you'll know what we're talking about and what time to tune in. Have a great day, you guys. I will talk to you soon.